What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today, oh my goodness, we got the biggest Destiny update that we've seen in years, detailing the development process that Bungie is taking to get to the next huge expansion, the Witch Queen. And guys, there are some massive changes hitting Destiny. Quick highlight, sunsetting is gone. That's right, weapon sunsetting is going away. You never thought it would happen, but it's happening. So let's get started here. And first things first, let's talk about the Witch Queen, the next big, what is usually the fall expansion for Destiny. However, Bungie just announced that it's going to be delayed until early 2022. So instead of fall and or winter 2021, it's going to be the beginning part of 2022. Beyond that, Bungie also announced that during development, they realized they would have to add another chapter in their Destiny saga after Lightfall. So it's going to go Witch Queen, then Lightfall as the next kind of big expansion, and then now there's one more big expansion in this kind of storyline. Now that's not going to be like it for Destiny 2, but this kind of story, this saga that they're telling with the invasion of the darkness, that's going to end now one expansion after Lightfall. Now, speaking about the Witch Queen, Bungie says the Witch Queen will light the fire on a strongly interconnected narrative across Lightfall and beyond, unlike anything we've ever attempted before, with characters, arcs, heroes, and villains that persist over multiple future releases. Even more importantly, the conclusion of these releases will also conclude the Light and Darkness saga, the conflict we first introduced with the launch of Destiny many years ago. As we've been developing the Witch Queen, we realized we needed this release to be the first of many moments crucial to the story of Destiny. With so much learning and development on what happens in the Witch Queen, we wanted to make sure that we gave ourselves enough time to build this journey in the right way, starting with an exceptional first chapter in the Witch Queen. So again, that is kind of the reason behind the delay. And they do say we'll have more to share on the Witch Queen and beyond in the late summer of this year. And this actually makes sense timing-wise because actually in the latest update, the API was changed so that it said the next season 14, would go until August 24th. And everyone was going, wait, that makes no sense. Like, how is there going to be enough time for a fall release? Well, now you know. It's going to be a fall season leading up to the next big Witch Queen DLC in early 2022 rather than that normal fall release. So again, that does make sense there. But moving on from there, let's talk about one of Destiny 2's most controversial additions, sunsetting. So Bungie says, and I quote, "We've made the decision that any weapon or armor that can currently be infused to max power will continue to be able to reach max power permanently. Starting in Season 14, we won't be capping the infusion to any weapons or armor that have not already reached the cap as of the start of Season 13. This means you'll be able to take your Trustee, your Fallen Guillotine, and your high stat armor that you've earned this year to take on the raid in the Witch Queen." Oh my goodness. So, again, anything that can reach the cap right now, which is anything from Season of the Worthy forward. So that does mean the Fellwinter's Lie is not getting sunset after this season. Everything from the Deepstone Crypt, your God Roll, Heritage, all of that stuff is not getting sunset. Now, with that being said, Bungie still says that they need some sort of method that will shift the meta when it comes to the higher level content especially, so people aren't just using the same thing for 5 years in a row, and most people don't want that. But they did say that we've learned a lot this year and don't want to rush this plan, so expect to hear something on this after the Witch Queen. So it won't necessarily be sunsetting 2.0. They realize that simply discontinuing weapons isn't the way to go, but it's got to be something to switch up the meta is what they're saying. However, they're saying because we won't be capping any more of our weapons, we must consider more variables in the game balance for our upcoming seasons and releases. So expect to see tuning when it comes to the biggest outliers in PvP and PvE. Yes, I'm looking at you, Fellwinters and Warmind cells. And frankly, this makes a lot of sense. Like, Warmind cells, I mean, they were going to be kind of technically sunset next season when you have a lot of the Season of the Worthy loot rotating out. And then, of course, you have, one more season of Warmind capable weapons with what was added in Season of Arrivals. But, like, Warmind cells were going to go away pretty darn soon. Now, it looks like they're here to stay because those weapons are here to stay. And Fellwinter's Lie as well. Frankly, I think some of us were looking forward to that being sunset next season. So it does make more sense that we are going to see a little bit more buffs and nerfs rather than just letting stuff get sunset so you don't need to buff or nerf it. Moving on from there, Bungie announced another massive change to the power leveling system. So, they said that previously they started a system where they raised the overall power cap by 50 each season. And they say that while this helped ensure that infusion caps shifted the meta, it also made each season feel like a significant reset to the power you had accumulated. So to combat this, we will be experimenting with a new power level cap. Starting in season 14, we will only be raising the power cap by 10 for each non-expansion setting. This means if you reach the maximum power in season 13 this season, when the next season rolls around, you will be directly in the 10-point pinnacle band of the power pursuit. They say this power increase should feel familiar to anyone who played Season of Dawn last year, and we're excited to see how this progression feels alongside our new system. So another massive change. Moving on from there, Bungie finally addresses the problems going on in PvP. So, first off, they say in Season 15, which is going to be that fall season instead of Witch Queen, obviously, they say we will be addressing 3-peaking in Trials and Competitive. In these modes, emotes will be disabled, and players will be unable to pull out any third-person weapon that doesn't have ammo. This, of course, was a major community complaint. People could just whip out a sword and look around corners to wait until the perfect moment to engage, and it often meant that a Trials round would go to the very end in time because everyone was terrified and actually having to shoot a gun, which is not what you want in a first-person shooter. So, frankly, I'm glad to see it going. Moving on from there, Bungie says in Season 13 and 14, we will be adjusting stasis in the Crucible in order to bring its overall effectiveness in line with our light subclasses. So here are some of these massive changes. So for the Behemoth Titan, they're decreasing the super damage reduction so it's easier to kill. They're going to increase the super energy cost when performing light attacks, which right now it basically takes up none of your super so you can yeet around the entire map. Now it'll actually cost something to do that. They're going to remove the freeze area of effect on supercast, so you're not going to instantly freeze anyone near you when you cast your super. Also, they're going to reduce the traveling efficacy of the Shiver Strike when you're slowed. Now, for the Revenant Hunter, they're going to decrease the Withering Blade damage and tracking. They're going to decrease slow stacks applied to targets, and they're going to remove Shadow Dive damage reduction. So hopefully you'll be able to just yeet a Shadow Diver out of the air who gets a little too bold instead of having that damage resistance, which lets you tank shots and then get your Shadow Dive off. Now with the Shadebinder Warlock, they're going to fix a bug where Ice Flare bolts wouldn't track towards targets immediately on creation, and they're going to fix a bug where Shadebinder super projectiles are not tracking until a certain distance traveled. And in general, they're going to decrease the crystal shatter damage, so you won't just instantly die if someone shatters a crystal near you. Hopefully. They continue and say for Season 15, we are also looking at universal adjustments to stasis by increasing damage reduction when frozen to provide more survivability for the victim. And they also say that in Season 15, we will also focus on light subclasses and release a set of targeted buffs to our most underutilized specializations. And also in Season 15, it's going to be a big season, Bungie says we will also be looking to adjust overall ability usage rates to make sure guns and gunplay are always key to success in the Crucible. But of course, they acknowledge gunplay only goes so far if you're versing a cheater. So they actually did address this, saying that we're aiming to double the size of the Bungie Games security team this year, reflecting our long-term commitment to fair play. We've begun regular surveys to better understand your experience with cheating and to measure our progress. This data enriches our existing streams from player reports. And also they say we've begun a strategy of aggressive legal action against cheat developers. You may have seen some news articles about the early actions here. Well, they teamed up with Riot Games to go after Gator cheats, and they say that they're gonna keep doing this and go after these cheat makers. And they say they're going to overhaul Trials of Osiris before the end of this year. And here's what they're targeting. So they want to improve the overall health of the Trials matchmaking pool by both incentivizing a wider audience to engage and better defining separation of skill tiers. They want to rebuild the Trials reward structure so it encourages more players to stick to their active cards longer. And they want to investigate opportunities for solo players to participate in Trials regularly. We believe that this will not only make the matchmaking pools healthier, but will also encourage more players to see what Trials is all about and hopefully form social connections with other PvP-loving Guardians. All right, pretty interesting. Now, shifting gears to PvE, they say in Season 14, which is next season, Vault of Glass will return. So, the world's first race, since it's a reprised raid, it's going to be a little bit different. They say that when Vault of Glass launches, there is going to be a contest mode in the first 24 hours, but they're actually saying that players looking to claim the belt will not only have to complete the raid, but also a curated list of challenging triumphs. So that's a pretty interesting take this time around. But they also say before the end of the year, we're also looking to add a master version of Vault of Glass. They were excited about how master and grandmaster difficulties have changed nightfall strikes. And they say we'd like all of our future raids and dungeons to offer master difficulty versions where players can earn adept, raid, and dungeon gear. While we aren't able to commit to a Season 14 time frame, we do want to take the time to develop a sustainable structure that allows us to ship these closer together in future releases. Pretty cool change. Moving on from there, Ada 1 from the Black Armory is going to be returning to the tower, and she is going to be associated with Transmog arriving in Season 14. So apparently you can go and grab bounties from her, which will give you the materials necessary to turn your armor into universal ornaments that you can use for Transmog. And some last points of information to hit on. Crossplay is coming to the masses in Season 15. We'll be doing some internal rollouts and alpha tests in Season 14 to prepare. Additionally, Ikora Rey hasn't had much of a part to play. Apparently she's going to be playing a pivotal role in the Witch Queen. And they've introduced Stasis subclasses, and they say that in Season 15, we will introduce our first round of legendary Stasis energy and power weapons. That's right, Stasis is going to be a proper elemental gun type. It won't just be the one grenade launcher, so that's pretty interesting as well. And lastly, guys, Bungie left us with this. This is concept art for some of the new armor sets coming with the Witch Queen. And that's given me a little bit of a mix of vibes from Trials of the Nine and a Black Armory. So I don't know what is going on here. In any event, guys, that is it for an absolutely massive update. Oh my goodness, Destiny 2 will never be the same. Seriously. And I am very glad that it seems like Bungie is really listening to community concerns, removing sunsetting, nerfing stasis, all of this stuff seems fantastic. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.